My wife and I were reincarnated to the year when we graduated from college. We tacitly left each other. She no longer wasted her youth on love and stepped into the entertainment circle she had dreamed of with her childhood sweetheart. I also no longer sacrificed my future for love and chose to persevere in starting my own business. When we met again, it was 10 years later. She had become a popular singer, snuggling on the shoulder of her childhood sweetheart and sneering at me, who was so inconspicuous. Without you holding me back, I've lived a different life. I didn't say a word and turned around to leave. Later, when the top actress kissed me passionately, she got anxious. Lucas, how could you kiss another woman? I came to the alumni party for the 100th anniversary of my alma mater. I ran into Sophia, the woman who had abandoned me in my previous life. Now she had become a popular singer. Tickets for each of her concerts would be sold out within a minute, and her voice could even be heard in the soundtracks of TV series and movies. This was the dream she had been willing to abandon her husband and child to fulfill in her previous life. All the students from the same grade were sitting at one table. My alma mater was originally a film academy. The students invited for the 100th anniversary were all those who had achieved some success in their careers. Naturally, there were quite a few celebrities who were active in the entertainment circle. Among them, someone said, "Isn't this Lucas? Why is he here? I've never heard any news about him in the 10 years since graduation. I suspect that he probably came here to get back together with Sophia." Standing in front of a table full of people, with various expressions, I opened the message expressionlessly to confirm whether I was supposed to sit at this table. There was no mistake, there were still 2 empty seats. Just when I was about to sit down, Edward, my sworn enemy in college, blocked my way. "These seats are already taken. Don't you understand the principle of first come, first served?" The table, which had been lively just now, was suddenly shrouded in awkwardness. Oscar, my roommate in college, stood up and pretended to be enthusiastic. As he hooked my shoulder, "Lucas, all the seats at this table are occupied. I'll ask the waiter to add a seat for you right away." "Oscar, there's no need to trouble others. Let Lucas sit at the table behind. Anyway, we're all alumni." "Yeah, look at how shabbily he's dressed. He must have sneaked in." Indeed, I was dressed differently from the people present. They were either wearing luxury brand clothes bought at high prices or designer styles, while I was just wearing an inconspicuous white shirt and a pair of ordinary black suit pants. Even my shoes were sneakers, which didn't fit in with such a formal occasion at all. Amid the laughter of everyone, I looked in the direction pointed by others. They wanted me to sit at the last table, where the light was dim and no one had sat there yet. Upon closer inspection, I found the words "reserved." I have a table written in the middle of the room. "Oh, isn't this Lucas? I really didn't expect you to come today. We all classmates." People who don't know might think we're excluding him. "Let's add a seat at our table for him." I was all too familiar with that affected voice. It was none other than Sophia, my wife in my previous life. Sophia was wearing a high-end luxury dress and had her childhood sweetheart, Ethan, on her arm. Ethan, I knew him all too well in my previous life. A large part of the reason for Sophia's betrayal was because of Ethan. In Sophia's words, Ethan was the most perfect man in the world, and I couldn't compare to him in the slightest. The lighting engineer at the scene caught sight of the gossip, and immediately focused the lights over here. Everyone's eyes were fixed on this side. Those who had been sneering at me at the table immediately pushed me aside and went up one by one to start flattering Sophia. "I've been looping your song these days. It's really so nice." Yeah. I tried to grab tickets for your concert yesterday, but I couldn't get any at all." "I didn't get any either." "Me neither. It's so hard to get them." Everyone's flattery made Sophia even more arrogant. "You're all my classmates. There's no need to grab tickets. Just let me know, and I'll ask the staff to arrange the front row seats in the inner area for you right away." She threw a mocking look at me. She still looked down on others just like before. The warm-up performances for the party were going on, all prepared by the current students. They just wanted to seize the opportunity when so many celebrities were present to create a chance for themselves. In the end, I was arranged by my old classmates to sit beside the serving position. They chatted casually from time to time, but the topic was always centered around Sophia. "Do you think Isabella will come today? She's a top star now. She was the campus beauty of our school back then." Seeing the topic shift to another woman, Sophia's face began to darken. One of her lackeys coughed to give a hint to everyone. "She probably looks down on us. There are so many people like that. Once they become famous, they turn their backs on others. They'll surely get into trouble sooner or later. Our Sophia is so nice. She's at such a high position now. She should have been sitting at the main table of this party, but she's still willing to sit with us old classmates." Sophia didn't deny it and even promised to give this lackey the chance to play the leading actress. I wasn't interested in the topics at the table and didn't listen carefully at all. I had more important things to do later. I played with my mobile phone and saw a text message from my wife. "Honey, I'll be there soon. Have you met a lot of old Classmates, are you happy to see them after such a long time? Recalling what had just happened, my expression darkened. Yes, I'm happy. I'll come to the entrance to pick you up later. My wife replied with an emoji, just as I looked up to watch the performance on the stage. The last time our eyes met, Sophia sneered and laughed out loud, attracting everyone's attention once again. Lucas, what have you been doing these years? We're all classmates, but no one knows what you've been up to. Sophia deliberately brought up the topic and looked me up and down, twice. If you're not doing well, just tell us. Maybe we can help. You, after all, everyone here is quite influential. In my previous life, Sophia never supported me when I was starting my business. She only thought about getting into the entertainment circle herself. She even took my hard-earned money to have plastic surgery. In this life, I finally got rid of her and continued to start my business as usual. Perhaps she was really the bane of my life. The scale of my company has expanded hundreds of times compared to my previous life and has even expanded overseas. None of the people present knew that I was the boss of the largest entertainment company in the country at present, namely, the Sheila Company. There were even classmates at the table who had signed contracts with my company. However, I had never shown my face. No one knew that I was the boss of this company. My silence made everyone simply assume that I hadn't achieved anything in these years. In front of everyone, Sophia snorted coldly. Everyone knows that you sneaked in today just to get back together with me. Ethan and I are about to hold our wedding soon. You've lost your chance. The people around pretended to be surprised and sent their blessings one after another. After all, in their eyes back then, these two were a perfect match. And I was just lucky enough to have the chance to get close to Sophia. When did Sophia become so narcissistic? Hearing her words, I felt a bit sick. We haven't seen each other for 10 years. How did you become so narcissistic? My unsparing words made Sophia stunned for a moment. After all, usually only she could criticize me. How could I make her lose face in front of others? My wife sent me a message saying that she had arrived at the entrance. Without giving anyone a glance, I walked straight towards the door. It seemed that someone was calling me from behind, but my wife was more important. Just as I reached the entrance of the hall, my wife sent me another message saying that she had met her senior on the way and needed to chat for a while. Anyway, it wouldn't take long, so I just waited at the entrance. Sitting on the sofa at the entrance, I took a sip of tea and scrolled through my phone. After a while, a dark figure blocked my view. Sophia looked down at me condescendingly. Lucas, are you regretting now that you didn't enter the entertainment circle with me in your previous life? Now I'm a hot singer, while you're just someone who wasn't even invited to the class reunion. You're such a useless loser. Looking at the woman who used to share the same bed with me in my previous life saying these words to me, I had almost forgotten these things. In the past 10 years, with her mention, my old memories were involuntarily awakened. I remember that in the first few years of our marriage, we worked hard together like an ordinary couple and lived an ordinary life. Sophia always won the first prize in the top 10 singers competition at our university. She was also quite popular in our school. However, her appearance was really plain, even unremarkable. No one was willing to promote her to the front stage. After marriage, Sophia had always been working as a behind-the-scenes music producer until one day she suddenly got in touch with Ethan. At that time, Ethan was an agent of an entertainment company. The contract he gave Sophia was completely unfair. Not only could he not provide resources for Sophia, but when she wanted to terminate the contract later, she even had to pay a termination fee of millions of yuan. Since I was also in this line of work, I advised her to be cautious and pointed out the drawbacks to her. But she said that I just didn't want her to show her face in public. She claimed that I was an old-fashioned person who only wanted my wife to stay at home to take care of her husband and children. I said that when I succeeded in starting my business, I would have enough savings and connections to support her career. However, Sophia didn't agree. She smashed everything in the house that could be smashed. She even took it out on our 3-year-old daughter and whipped her with a clothes hanger. She just wanted to force me to give up starting my business and fully assist her in entering the entertainment circle. Sophia, if you suddenly rush to venture out regardless of everything now, it will be a huge challenge for our family. Your career requires a lot of manpower and financial resources. With our current conditions, it definitely can't support your dream yet. I applied ointment to my daughter's back, looking at those conspicuous scars, and my heart was bleeding. Why can Ethan do it while you say it's impossible? I was really blind in college to fall for someone like you. You keep talking about starting a business. I think you're just afraid that you can't compare with others when you go out to work. So you're just making excuses for yourself. Right in front of our daughter, the words spoken by Sophia's shrill voice were particularly harsh. Sophia, can we talk privately? Don't say these things in front of the child. Our daughter stood aside and kept sobbing, but her crying didn't win any sympathy from her own mother at all. Lucas, you just want to tie me down with our daughter for the rest of my life. Since you don't want to, let's get divorced. I won't fight with you for custody of the child. I'll give it all to you." That night, thunder rumbled outside and lightning lit up the dark room from time to time. After I finally managed to coax the child to sleep, I found that Sophia had already packed her luggage and left home. There was also the latest text message from the bank on my mobile phone. She had transferred all my money to pay for her plastic surgery. After 10 years of relationship, how could I bear to let her leave the family like this without even taking an umbrella? I chased after her desperately. The heavy rain blurred my vision as I saw Sophia walking towards the opposite side of the road. I rushed straight in her direction. The sound of horns rang through the night sky. Both she and I were hit and sent flying into the air by a car at the same time. Before closing my eyes, I saw that the driver was exactly Ethan, who Sophia always said was the nicest to her. When I woke up again, both she and I had been reincarnated. Now it seems that Sophia had no idea at all that the person who killed her was the Ethan she had always cared about so much. Otherwise, how could she be with the murderer? However, that's none of my business anymore. Recalling these memories, up to this point, I didn't want to think about them in detail anymore. Sophia, can we stop bringing the grudges from our previous life to the present? You go your own way, and I'll go mine. Besides, I'm already married. Each of my words surprised Sophia time and time again. In her eyes, I was just her sycophant. It was always me who tried hard to please her. How could I possibly miss the chance to rekindle our old relationship? Moreover, she was now a popular singer. Oh, come on. You couldn't have just found some random woman to marry just to annoy me, right? Who would like someone like you? As soon as she finished speaking, a group of people from the hall came out bustling. They were exactly the classmates who had been at the same table with me just now. The several people in the lead heard Sophia's words and quickly came over to speak up for her. I happened to see Lucas once before. He seemed to be shopping with his wife. His wife was wrapped up tightly all over, and she was even wearing a mask and sunglasses. She must be really scary looking. Otherwise, why would she be so reluctant to show her face? Like attracts like. Seeing that everyone was on her side, Sophia couldn't hide her smugness anymore, and there was an unstoppable smile at the corners of her mouth. Why are you all out? You hadn't arrived just now. Everyone was waiting for you to take pictures together. Now that you're here, let's take a picture together. Everyone unanimously put Sophia and Ethan in the center. Edward rolled his eyes around and pushed me aside. Lucas, why don't you take a picture for us? It's not convenient to find someone else here. If you don't want me to take a picture with you, just say it directly. There's no need to play these tricks. Just as everyone started to tidy up their appearance, there was a commotion in the crowd. Several people widened their eyes in shock and looked in the direction of the elevator. I turned around and found that a group of media were taking pictures of a woman. The flashes of light were so bright that they could almost blind those standing far away. Dole, it's the top actress, Isabella. She's actually here. Why is she walking towards us? Is she going to say hi? Hello to Sophia, the only one among us who could have some connection with her. Sophia, who didn't know Isabella at all, straightened her back and chest at this moment. With a standard smile on her face, she watched Isabella approaching us. Just as Sophia stretched out her hand to greet Isabella, Isabella took my arm and pouted. Humph, why didn't you answer my phone call just now? I was just taking a group photo for them and didn't notice my phone. I replied. Isabella looked at me, and then at everyone standing in front of us. All of them were faces that had appeared in my graduation photos. As someone who had been struggling in the entertainment circle for many years, could she not know the little tricks in it? Seeing Isabella intimately holding my arm, the expressions on everyone's faces were really varied. Anger flashed in Sophia's eyes as she was ignored, but due to her status, she pretended not to see Isabella's hostility. Sister Isabella, I'm Sophia. I really didn't expect to see you here. Sister Isabella, are you familiar with Lucas? We're all his former college classmates. It's just that he's now. Isabella raised her eyebrows, signaling Sophia to continue. Seeing Isabella's expression like this, I knew she had her own little thoughts again. I looked at her dotingly and let her do as she pleased. I'm afraid you don't know that Lucas is already married, and it's rumored that his wife is really ugly. Is that so? How ugly? Isabella pretended to be surprised and asked with great interest. I heard that she's so hideous that she covers her face tightly when going shopping. I knew Isabella too well. Looking at her fake smile, everyone would think she was very kind, but I knew that her anger level had reached its peak at this moment. I secretly touched Isabella's finger with my hand, signaling that there was a large group of reporters behind her. The fact that we got married hadn't been made public. Firstly, it was for the development of Isabella's career, and secondly, it was for me to be able to stay behind the scenes of the company all the time. This habit was the same as in my previous life. I didn't like the media to keep an eye on my every move. However, the next second, I froze stupidly on the spot. Isabella kissed me on the lips in front of everyone. He's my husband. In an instant, the media, who had been blocked outside the fence by the security guards, all rushed in. They raised their cameras and took pictures of the two of us. I couldn't even think about the exposure of our relationship in my mind at all. Instead, I held Isabella in my arms, fearing that others would push her. It wasn't until half an hour later that we managed to squeeze out of the crowd and return to the banquet hall. Well, now the atmosphere was even more awkward. Everyone wasn't stupid and knew that Sophia had directly angered Isabella just to curry favor. What's more, they had just been mean to me. Sophia, who had already made a fool of herself in public, finally quieted down a bit. I didn't make any more noise. In order to avoid being blocked, Edward took the lead to speak. I always thought that Lucas would surely be the most successful one among us back then. Now that he's married to the actress, he's sure to rise even higher in his career. So, isn't this a sarcastic way of saying that I'm a gigolo? Isabella was so angry that she burst out laughing. She turned her head and blinked at me. Honey, are you really classmates? Don't they even know until now that you are the founder of Sheila Entertainment Company? One bombshell after another was dropped on them, and everyone's mouths opened wide like eggs. Sophia, who had just regained her composure a little, was so shocked that the wine glass slipped from her hand. At this moment, all the red wine in the glass spilled onto her white dress. You know, Sophia had been actively seeking to get in touch with Sheila in the past year, just to have the opportunity to sing an episode for the best production team. Every drama invested by Sheila was a huge hit. She had tried to contact the behind-the-scenes boss of Sheila many times, but she never expected that it was actually her husband in her previous life. She exclaimed in surprise. Ethan quickly took a wet wipe to help wipe it off, but the area of the stain just got bigger and bigger as he wiped. What should we do? This dress was borrowed from the brand. Now it's like this, and we'll have to pay a lot of money. Ethan didn't stop his action, and he kept complaining. How could Sophia bear losing face like this in public? Just pay the money. It's not that much anyway. Isabella didn't let this opportunity slip and took the chance to add. Indeed, it's an out-of-season dress. After being pointed out so bluntly, Sophia couldn't stay any longer. She directly lifted her skirt and ran towards the door. Ethan was still chasing after her with a wet wipe in his hand. The scene was really a bit funny. Compared with before, there was a bit more envy in Edward's eyes when he looked at me. However, he still managed to hold it in. There are just 2 empty seats here. Why don't you sit here so that we can catch up on old times? This time, I didn't give them another chance. I really hate those who try to curry favor after the event. No need. The main table has reserved seats for us. I took Isabella's hand and walked towards the middle seat in the front row. The lights shone on our heads, and even on the big screen, our images were directly projected on it. Sure enough, when I opened my mobile phone, the top trending topic on the hot search was that actress Isabella announced her relationship with me. It directly caused the server to crash. When I logged in again, my identity had also been dug out. By others, this was something I had expected long ago. All of a sudden, everyone was saying that we were a perfect match. Some people also said that the children we would have in the future would surely have good genes. A week after attending the party, I don't know who exposed the conversation between Sophia and Isabella were at the entrance of the banquet hall. I'm afraid you don't know that Lucas is already married, and it's rumored that his wife is really ugly. All of a sudden, the topic exploded again. All the fans on the internet were criticizing Sophia. Moreover, Isabella's fans were the most powerful fan group in the entertainment circle. The voices of Sophia's fans defending her had long been drowned out by the criticism. When I learned about this, I happened to be visiting Isabella on the set. Isabella was sitting in the RV, eating fruits and still wearing a cheongsam for her next ancient costume drama. Honey, although she was your college ex-girlfriend, she's still your old classmate after all. Do you want me to clarify things? I shook my head. No need. It has nothing to do with us in the first place. The matter was fomenting more and more seriously. Even someone claimed to be an insider. They exposed Sophia's sarcastic remarks towards me at the dinner table. These things were known only to our classmates at that time. It was really a case of everyone pushing a falling wall. Sophia's character was questioned again and again. At such a critical moment, her concert was postponed directly. This didn't calm down the voices on the internet. Instead, people thought it was a sign of having a guilty conscience. It was Isabella's turn to film her scenes. I was bored, so I thought about taking a stroll around the film and television city. I hadn't walked far when I saw a woman wearing a baseball cap blocking my way. Her whole face was hidden under the cap, and with her dark eye circles, I almost didn't recognize her as the glamorous Sophia from not long ago. She grabbed my wrist and dragged me to a corner with tears in her eyes. Was it all done by you? Did you release those things at night to frame me? Do you want to ruin me? I shook off her hand. Sophia, I'm not that boring. Besides, please remember that I just feel disgusted with you now, and don't want to have anything to do with you at all. Sophia looked at me with her swollen eyes. No, Lucas, I was wrong. I know that you just want to attract my attention. Actually, you still love me, right? How could you marry her? You said in your previous life that you would only marry me. I didn't know how Sophia had the nerve to say such things. It was all your own choice back then. Have you forgotten? Don't pester me anymore. I don't want Isabella to misunderstand. Sophia covered her ears and squatted down. You're lying. You're lying. If you don't like me, why did you deliberately show up in front of me at the anniversary of our alma mater? Just when she squatted down, I noticed that it was midsummer now, but Sophia was wearing long sleeves and long pants. The sleeves slowly slipped down her arms. They were covered with wounds. Could it be that Ethan hit her? Even so, this is also what Sophia brought upon herself. There's no need for me to get involved. This is the man she chose after living a whole life. Seeing that I noticed her wounds, Sophia immediately She rolled up her sleeves and waved them in front of my eyes. These were all done by Ethan. Can you bear to see me living in the shadow of such a brute? I spilled the gift last time and had to pay hundreds of thousands of yuan in compensation, and then he beat me like this. For this kind of thing, you should go to the Women's Federation instead of coming to me. I coldly turned my face away and impatiently kept looking at my watch. It won't be long before Isabella's scenes are almost over. If she can't find me, she'll be nervous again. Did you never love me? Otherwise, how could you just stop loving me after 10 years of relationship? In our previous life, have you forgotten our daughter? I gave birth to her after carrying her in my womb for 10 months. It would have been okay if Sophia hadn't mentioned our daughter, but once she did, I got furious. When she wanted to get rid of us, she regarded our daughter as a burden. Now she's using our daughter as a tool to play the victim. I'd better get rid of this crazy woman in front of me as soon as possible. If I hadn't loved you back then, I wouldn't have been hit by a car and died while trying to save you on that rainy day. Sophia, wake up. There's no possibility for us at all. I only have Isabella in my heart. I love her more than anything. I didn't know how long Sophia stayed there. The only wish I had for her was that she could quickly turn over a new leaf. A month has passed since the incident happened. Sophia had been sending me messages in the first 2 weeks. Now her contact information is already on my blacklist. The world has become a lot quieter. However, I still underestimated her stubbornness. She even went to the film set to bother Isabella. I can be harassed, but I can't let Isabella be affected. This drama is what she's relying on to strive for winning the Best Actress award for the 3rd time. I simply hired a dozen security guards to protect Isabella. Until one day, after I finished the last meeting in the company, I opened my mobile phone and found countless messages and calls pouring in. Just as I was about to click on them one by one, my assistant explained anxiously, "Boss, someone said that you beat Sophia at the Film and Television City a month ago. Now she's holding a press conference and also said that all her concerts this year will be canceled. All of Sister Isabella's social media accounts have been flooded. Isabella, this is serious." She was the only thing on my mind, although I had already revealed my identity in front of everyone. Compared to the title of the top actress, no matter who the main character in this matter is, in the end, it will directly affect her. I didn't even have time to put down the documents. I directly took the elevator to the basement, wanting to drive to find her. While in the elevator, I called Isabella many times, but no one answered. Damn. My heart sank, little by little. An unknown text message came in. Just when I thought it was from Isabella and saw the content of the text message, my eyes, it grew colder and colder, as if they could freeze people to death even in the sweltering heat. As long as you transfer 5 million to this account, I'll help you solve the online issues. The elevator door opened, and outside there were already many reporters aiming their cameras at me. Is everything Sophia said true? Did you really hit her for Isabella's sake? As a man, it's really too much for you to lay hands on a woman. There were many reporters surrounding me, and their words were like machine guns. They didn't give me a chance to retort at all. It was an hour later when I finally managed to break through the crowd of reporters. I called Isabella's assistant to ask, and the assistant said that she wasn't on the set today. It seems that her old problem has recurred. I rushed home as fast as I could. As soon as I entered the door, I called Isabella's name. The villa seemed to be empty. She must be in the attic. I climbed up the wooden stairs and opened the attic door. Isabella was squatting in the corner, huddled up into a ball. It really made my heart ache. Without saying a word, I went up and hugged her tightly in my arms, kissing her face. She still couldn't stop trembling in my arms. If I had no feelings for Sophia before, now I really have an additional feeling for her. It's hatred. 8 years ago, I met Isabella in a park. At that time, in order to get rid of the shadow that Sophia had brought to me in my previous life as soon as possible, I spent 2 years making a meticulous plan for myself. It included running 5 kilometers every morning. On the first day of my morning run, I noticed Isabella. She was so beautiful. Even without makeup, her face was still fair, with red lips and white teeth. Day after day of persistence also made me discover that at the same time, Isabella would always appear in the park. However, she was always sitting on the same bench. From beginning to end, no other person appeared beside her, and she herself just kept sitting on the bench and didn't do other activities. Later, I handed her a bottle of mineral water, and then we had the chance to communicate. Only then did I know that Isabella had been suffering from depression since graduation, and the reason for her depression was just because she took on a villain role. But Madison brought it into reality and kept scolding her for 2 years. With my company, she finally regained her confidence with great difficulty, and the symptoms of depression hardly appeared anymore. But now, because of me, Isabella has inexplicably suffered a new round of online abuse. I patiently patted her on the back and repeated, "It's okay, I'm here." Slowly, Isabella fell asleep in my arms. I pinched my already numb legs a few times, and carried her back to the bed in the bedroom. While she was sleeping, I must handle all the matters well. Since I could start my own business and reach the current position by myself, I'm definitely not someone to be trifled with. Soon, I contacted the world's top law firm team. Everything I knew, in detail. The rest, I just needed to leave to them. During the days when the lawyers were looking for evidence, I blocked all the networks at home and gave the nanny a holiday. I also postponed all the work in the company to a week later. I was just like when we first started our relationship. I cooked all 3 meals a day by myself. I accompanied Isabella to water the flowers and have barbecues in the back garden of the villa. Isabella's condition was getting better day by day. After eating the chicken leg I had just grilled, she put her arms around my waist from behind and said, "Thank you, honey. I'm much better now. Thank you for taking care of me these days. But we can't let you face this matter alone. This time, we should face it together." Isabella immediately contacted several of her fans who often followed her on the film set. She wanted to know if they had filmed anything on the day at the Film and Television City. Sure enough, one of the fans had actually filmed something. The fan thought I was going to cheat on Isabella, so they pointed the camera at me when Sophia approached me. However, because the distance was too far, not much of the conversation could be heard. But this video could prove that I didn't lay a hand on her. Sophia had made up countless lies for this whole scheme. Before long, the lawyers found the breakthrough evidence. On the surface, Ethan was a gentle and refined young man, but behind the scenes, he was actually a real gambler. He secretly transferred Sophia's money to gamble, and now he was in debt for 5 million yuan. It seemed that the blackmail text message was also sent by Ethan. Even the contract that she signed with Ethan in this life was still an indenture of servitude. Just like in her previous life, it was just that Sophia happened to be lucky and became famous. That's why she didn't get involved in a contract lawsuit. Although the phone number that sent that text message had been canceled, the police had traced the purchaser. Who else could it be but Ethan? Finally, the day of the court hearing arrived. Since 2 celebrities were involved, people even had to scramble for seats in the spectator gallery outside the court. Besides the fans who supported Isabella and Sophia respectively, there were already layers of onlookers surrounding the place. In the courtroom, the lawyers presented the evidence in detail. The lawyer, hired by Sophia, was completely unable to defend her. In less than an hour, Sophia lost the lawsuit. The whole lawsuit was broadcast live online, and the click rate reached 100 million times. To avoid being blocked and unable to get out, I chose to leave through the back door. Isabella was filming on the set today and didn't come to the scene. Sophia opened her arms wide and blocked my way. She directly knelt down in front of us and said, "It was all Ethan who forced me to do this."